Hello everybody, my name is Mark. Welcome to another one of my investing videos. In this video, I am going to talk about the difference between selling covered calls and selling cash secure puts. And I picked GLD, which is an ETF on gold, as my case study. And you'll see why at the end of the video, because I think there is a money-making opportunity due to the imbalance in time value, which I'll show you at the end of the video. But first of all, let's real quickly go over covered calls and covered puts. Now, when you sell in covered calls, the first thing you would do is you'd buy 100 shares of this stock, and it's closed right now. It's at $125.37. So you buy 100 shares. It's going to cost you $12,537. And then you would sell to open a call option. So you would be going to the option chain and you would pick an option. And let's say we go 51 days out, and let's say we sell to open this $126 covered call right there, and the bid is 160, the ask is 164, so we'd sell to open that, and it looks like you get about $162 maybe. And then if GLD closes above $126 a share in the next 51 days, then this call option goes to zero and you would make all that money. Now, if you were to sell a cash secure put, one of the differences, you do not buy the shares, but you would just simply sell to open a put option. So let's say we sell to open this 124, then what you do is you would go ahead and put in your order, and the bid is $90, the ask is $93, and if indeed GLD in the next 51 day closes above $124, then you make a total of about $92 in a profit. And the reason why it's cash secure put is because you make sure you have enough money to buy the 100 shares of GLD at $124 a share. If indeed your put option was to get exercised, you'd be obligated to buy GLD at $124 a share, which means you'd have to have at least $12,400 to do this particular strategy. So that's the covered call, and that's a cash secure put strategy in a very simplified nutshell. Now, let's compare. Let's say that you have a call option, and we'll just pick, the price doesn't even matter, but we'll use $125. So let's say that you sell to open a call option, strike price $125, and then you sell to open a put option, strike price $125. And then let's say in the next 10 seconds, the call option and the put option get exercised. What would happen? Well, the answer is, first, you would be obligated to buy 100 shares of GLD at $125 a share. And so you would do that, and it would cost $12,500, and then you'd be the proud owner of 100 shares. And then your call option got exercised, so you'd be obligated to sell your shares, the 100 shares that you just bought, and so you get back the $12,500 that you just spent. You break even. You wouldn't make any money. You wouldn't lose any money. So it all equalizes. So if the options get exercised, there's no difference between selling a covered call and selling a cash secure put. Hopefully you can see that. Now let's say that the options do not get exercised, and you sell to open this call option, $125 strike price. You sell to open this put option, $125 strike price, and then let's say you hold on it throughout the remainder of the 51 days, and then 51 days comes up, both options expire, and then let's say that GLD closes at exactly $125 a share. So that means that your $125 call would be exactly at the money. Your $125 put would be exactly at the money. Your call would be worth $0, worthless. It would expire worthless. And then your put option, again, $125, it would expire worthless. So 0, 0. Hopefully you can see that selling a call and selling a put, again, exactly the same thing. No difference whatsoever. Selling covered calls and selling cash secure put have almost identically the same exact risk-reward profile. The money that you're risking, the money that you can make, is almost exactly the same. Now, let's say in 51 days, GLD decides to go down to $120 a share. What would happen? Well, if you sold this covered call right now, this call option, the bid $211, the ask $213, so you get about $212. Now, if it went down to $120 in a covered call, you would buy 100 shares, right? So you buy 100 shares, and then, unfortunately for you, your 100 shares goes down to $120 a share. So instead of having $12,500, you now have $12,000. That's a $500 loss, but you took in $212. So instead of losing $500, you lose $288. You take a $288 loss. Now, let's say that you would have sold a cash secure put, and if you did that $125, then what would happen is the bid is $130, the ask is $134. Okay, now the difference is you're not buying the shares, but don't hold on, there's still some risk here, right? So what would happen? You would sell to open a $125 put option, and then you would collect this money in premium, but because in 51 days GLD decides to go down to $120, this put option would be worth $500. So that would mean that you would be $500 in the red, but you do get to collect this $132, let's say. So you would take about a $370 loss, a $368 loss. So you would actually lose a little bit more money on the call, which I think I said you lose like $288. You'd lose a little bit more money on the call than you would on the put. But if you notice, if we look at options 3 days, right? Like let's say we were to sell to open this call option, okay? You buy 100 shares of GLD, and then GLD goes down $120. You take the $537 loss, and then you would collect this 70. Let's see, the bid is 72, so $75. So you end up losing $425. And in the case of this $125 put, you don't buy the shares, but if GLD did go down to $120 a share in the next 3 days, then this put option is going to be worth $500 in 3 days. You did collect this premium here, so you did make $33, so you would end up losing $77. So here with this call, you lose $75. Here with the put, you lose $77. So you can see selling a covered call, selling a cash secure put have virtually the same exact risk reward profile. Now, here's the reason why I picked GLD. Now, a call option, contract to buy a stock at a set price. Put option, contract to sell a stock at a set price. So when you are selling cover calls, or when you're selling cash secure puts, you're giving somebody else the right to buy that stock from you. That's in the case of selling a call. Or you're giving somebody else the right to sell that stock to you. That's in the case of a put, right? So the mechanics of the call, the mechanics of the put are exactly the same. They equalize. You buy a stock for $125 a share, it's going to cost you $12,500. If you sell that stock, you're going to get the same exact $12,500. What makes the covered call and what makes the cash secure difference is time. The time value is what varies. And here's the part that, and right here what I'm about to show you is the reason why I picked GLD. Now, look at this, okay? Right now, GLD is at $125.37 a share. Now, look at how much this $126 call option is worth. It is worth, the bid is $11.05, the ask is $11.50, so it's worth about, let's say, $1,125. Now, look at this out of the money put. So this call is out of the money, this put is out of the money, but look at how much cheaper the put is. The put is only the bid $565, the ask $595, so maybe it's worth like $575 or $580. So look at how much cheaper that is. Okay, we're talking about a call option and a put option. Okay, now in the case of the call option, GLD $125.37. So that means that this $126 call option is $63 out of the money. Now this $125 put, again, $125.37. So this is $37 out of the money. So $63 out of the money for that 126 put, and the $125 put, $37 out of the money. But look at how many $100 of a difference that you would be spending or receiving depending if you're going to buy the call or sell the call. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the calls are way more expensive as far as the time value compared to the puts, right? And so that's called an imbalance. And when you see an imbalance like that, then that should kind of raise a little alarm bell like, hey, maybe there is a way that I can make money. So let's see. Put options are cheap. Call options are expensive. So when you have a stock option that's expensive, do you want to be a buyer or a seller? If you have a put option that are dirt cheap, do you want to buy something that's cheap, or do you want to try to sell it and make money when you're not getting very much? So right off the bat, you should say, okay, calls are expensive, puts are cheap. So general rule of thumb, I want to be selling calls. I want to be the option seller. I want to take the sell side of the call, and I want to take the buyer side of the put. Because if I buy a put, then I'm only going to spend $580. But if I were to buy a call, that's going to cost me almost $1,200, right? So obviously, I want to be a seller of the calls and a buyer of the puts. So knowing that, just seeing something like that should kind of put your brain to work, and you should be asking yourself, what option strategy could I possibly use where I'm selling calls and buying puts? I wonder. If you watch my videos, then you know right away the answer is the option caller strategy, right? The option caller strategy is a wonderful strategy, and it can get you a nice 5 to a 10% return. If you get lucky, you could even make a 15 or a 20% return. But in an option caller, first thing you would do is you would buy 100 shares of the stock. So put in 100 shares like this, and then you click the review order, and you're going to buy 100 shares, and it looks like the price is $125.25, but you're going to end up buying it at $125.37, so you're going to spend $12,537, and then you're going to own 100 shares of this, and then you would buy to open a put option, right? So after you own 100 shares, you would buy to open a put option, and I would be buying this one. I would buy this $125. The bid is $565. The ask is $595. So let's say we put in a limit order for $580, and so you're going to spend $580. And now, because you own 100 shares, and now because you bought a put option, that means that if something happens, let's say GLD goes down to $100 a share, or if it goes to zero, that's not going to happen. But if it goes to $10 a share, you have a put option that gives you the right to sell GLD at $125 a share, and that is good for the next 689 days, almost 2 years from now. And so it's kind of like buying insurance. You know, if you buy a house, you usually get homeowners insurance just in case there's a fire. You're going to spend $200,000 for a house. It only makes sense for you to get a little bit of insurance in case there's a fire, and then your house burns to the ground, and it's unlikely that you're going to have the money to buy another house, and you certainly wouldn't want to lose all the money that you're spending. You wouldn't want to lose $12,500, so it makes sense to buy a put option, which is a right to sell your GLD at $125 a share, and it's going to cost you all of $580, let's say. Okay, now you are buying the put. Next thing is you want to sell to open a call option, and since we know that the calls are expensive, now first thing you want to do is you want to calculate the math. So you spent $580, so that tells you that if GLD goes up $5.80 a share, then the value of your stock will pay for the money that you spent on the put, and you will be in the green. So that means that you can sell a call option $5.80 or higher strike price, and if you collect enough money, then that money that you collect can pay for the money that you're spending on this, and basically that will allow you the privilege of owning GLD risk-free, and that's like gold right there. If you can invest in anything for no risk, that's what you're gunning for. So let's go ahead and look at some call options. $5.85. So let's just say $6. So $125.37 plus 6 is $131.37. So let's look at the $131 strike prices, and we'll look at both of these. Let's look at the 51 days and let's look at the 80 days. Okay, so let's look at the longer ones here, and let's look at the $131 strike prices here. So here's a It doesn't have it. It only goes up by 5. So maybe we got to go to 51 days. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, so we look at 51 days. Okay, 51 days looks like the bid is for 131. The bid is 40. The ask is 42. So about $40, right? And you're making $40 in 51 days. So that's about $20 a month. So in $20 a month, then there are 12 months in a year. So 20 is $240, and the put option that you bought is good for 2 years. So I would actually more like 23 months. So $240, 480, and we said so you're going to make $460. So it looks like there is a little bit of risk right there. The risk would be you're spending, if you were to buy, again, if you were to buy this put for $580 and you could make $460, your maximum possible loss in the next 689 days is that you could lose $120. You cannot lose more than that if you were to continually sell the open calls at the $131 strike price and make all that money in the 51 days. So if we look at that again, $40, that's about $20 a month, a little more because it's every 51 days, right? So your risk is very low. And if GLD goes up in that time, if it goes up to 126 or 127, then these calls will get more and more valuable. And at some point you'll start to make some money, and it's pretty safe. So that's an example of an option caller, and it's not as flashy as the option spreads that I like to do. I own calls on Microsoft, and I'm selling the open calls on Microsoft, and you can certainly make better returns on those than you can on the option callers. But the option caller is safe, and it's just a matter of looking at the stock options and looking at the differences, looking for the imbalances. And remember that when you're doing an option caller, you are selling covered calls, right? But instead of selling cash secure puts, you are buying the open puts. And but other than that, and it may seem like that I'm kind of getting off track a little bit, but I wanted to compare selling cash secure puts and selling covered calls so that you know that the only difference between selling calls and puts is the time value of the stock option. The time value is what makes a difference. If it wasn't for the time value, then selling a call and selling a put would be exactly the same thing, and it would not make one bit of a difference which one you did. If you sold a cash secure put, if you sold a covered call, the possibility, the money that you could lose and the money that you could make would be exactly equal. You wouldn't make any money, but the time value is what you look for when you're an option trader. You try to make money off that premium, and you try to find setups in your options that give you a chance, that give you a money-making opportunity. So if you have any questions about this video, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may ask, that you may have. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. And until next video, I will see you in the next video, hopefully, and have a good day. Thank you.